Yes, it is true. Organized gang stalking perps are set up as fake neighbors in an attempt to monitor and stalk a so-called target at a close proximity. This is known as prent or parent, as in paying the rent for a perp. These fake neighbors are commissioned to gather and report intel on a so-called target to their local gang stalking overseers. What this means is that somebody is paying their rent just for them to stalk, spy on, and harass a so-called target. What this also means is that while these fake neighbors are being financially compensated for their domestic terrorist activities, the gang stalking chain of command is simultaneously working to render a so-called target homeless by way of homelessness engineering, debt engineering, poverty engineering, and crime engineering, just to name a few. This video will provide evidence to back up the irrefutable fact that organized gang stalking perps are set up as fake neighbors in an attempt to sabotage a so-called target at a close range. Enjoy.
I'm just walking towards that direction. Yeah, that's so strange. There was a light there, and it seems that the perp has run away. It suddenly vanished. So today I have decided to do something different from what I usually do. You know what? I'm curious about this fucking perp. I just spotted someone with a light that has suddenly vanished. Now that I'm approaching, the perp has stood up. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Lo and behold, it's the perp from opposite my house. You know what? Even before I got there, I suspected it was him. Why did he stand up and run away as I was approaching? If he wasn't perping, he'd sit there and keep doing what he was doing. It's the perp, and you know what? I suspected it was him because of the light that I saw. He's a fucking perp. And it's unfortunate for him that he lives across the road from me. Very terrible, bad choice. It's a bad choice. Now that I caught him clean, I've got him clean, it's obvious he made a very terrible choice. By the way, my so-called neighbor is actually parked up across the road from my street, not doing anything. He's just chilling across the road. His handlers are going past now, and those are his handlers who are going to do a U-turn. Making a move now. I'm getting close. It's a fucking perp arriving home at the same time I am. This is how the perps do it. Oh, some amazing footage you got tonight.
Dear viewers, within 2 weeks of this incident, this fake neighbor moved out of the house opposite mine. Why move in and then move out so quickly? The answer to that question is pretty simple. He was terrified of the encounter he had with the lone wolf. And he knew fully well that after that night, which I caught him obviously stalking me, things were only bound to go downhill. In other words, he was just another gang-stalking snowflake. Let's ask ourselves these questions. Why did he leave his property and nod at me even when I don't know who he was? It's simple. Duper's delight. He thought he could groom bait me and control me into nodding back at him, thereby viewing him as a friendly neighbor, when in fact he was just another piece of futile EU bio trash. Demonic reptilian cryptids like to play games like these because this in fact represents the epitome of their collective intelligences. In other words, they are inherently fucking stupid. So on to the next question. Why did I see this same perp suddenly emerge from the dark, empty, unused plot of land at the end of the street as I approached? The answer to this question is pretty simple. He was performing a PIS, which is also known as perp in situ, and he was also reporting my current journey progress to his handlers. And yes, before he started moving, he was playing on his phone, just like a lot of perps do when they're performing a PIS. On to the next question. Why did I once again see the same exact, boring, and very dull perp standing at the entrance to the park, drinking a can of whatever while playing on his phone? Another very simple answer. Once again, he was performing a PIS, but this time he needed to show me that he was aware of the usual route I take when I go to the park. He's not very bright upstairs now, is he? On to the next question. Why was it that when I was in the dark, in the park, at night, with very little light, I noticed a strange creature creeping up behind me and even crouching with its torchlight? And then when I go on to investigate, it was none other than the exact same fake neighbor that lives across the street from me. The answer to this question is also pretty simple. The reduced visibility at night gave him the perfect cover to monitor me at a safe but close distance. You heard the exact same sound of the skateboard as he fled once he'd been spotted. Let me get this straight. This amateur went up against a lone wolf in the dark? Okay. From where I'm standing, his mental and tactical logistics are most definitely intolerably lacking. Just another amateur, just like Alistair Mulatto Snowflake Barkley. Arrogant and inherently stupid. Confirmed. And finally, why is it that at the final stretch, just as he was standing opposite my street, his handlers, who are responsible for every single act of gang stalking taking place in the neighborhood, suddenly drive past? Once again, we arrive at a very simple answer. It was a cry for help. He suddenly realized he was in the deep end, soiled his nappies, and then sent out a distress signal to his handlers. It's all there right in front of you. Fake neighbors are dangerous cryptids you must be very careful of. They are the same piles of demon excrement that carry out close-range acts of terrorism against you. For example, fake bailiff letters like the one from Marston Bailiffs, energy company scams, intercepting your mail just like the EU guinea pigs that live next door, and even sending their children to chase and harass your pets. Like in my case where my cat was constantly being chased, bullied, and harassed by the neighbor's kids before she was murdered. Did you know she was murdered in the presence of another demonic, flaky, dirty, filthy, ghoulish, and soulless old cryptid known as Kevin? More importantly, wasn't it strange that out of all the cats on the streets, these kids singled out my cat, took interest in chasing her with their toy weapons, and saw to it that they harassed her every time she was outside? Yes, this is how genetically worthless these creatures are. They use little kids for their gang stalking operations. Fucking biotrash. Trust me when I say this is not by accident. It is by design.